This is our world, and there on the northern hemisphere we find the Netherlands in a zone of moderate climate. The Netherlands, a country located on the European mainland between the North Sea and western Germany. The Netherlands is a modern, densely populated country with over 14 million inhabitants, centrally located between the most important European industrialized countries. But despite the relatively small size, 1/6 of the size of the state of Oregon, there are many aspects which have given the Netherlands international recognition. One of the Dutch achievements in recent history is a number of civil works in hydraulic engineering. Mr. Lely was one of the hydraulic engineers who started these projects. He designed the plan to reclaim the biggest part of an inner sea, the former so-called Zuiderzee, which penetrated deep into the Netherlands. According to the plan, a large dam should convert the Zuiderzee into a lake, after which one could systematically start the reclamation. This dam, the so-called Afsluitdijk, is an impressive masterpiece of civil works stretching for 20 miles. This dam, according to the Guinness Book of Records, is the longest sea dam in the world. Large sluices were built to control the water level in this new freshwater basin, which in the meantime was renamed IJsselmeer. After all, this project was only the start of the multi-billion-dollar hydraulic engineering project, which in the Netherlands is currently in the final stages of completion, the so-called Delta Works. Gigantic dams, sluices and bridges are designed and built to protect the islands and peninsulas in the southwestern section of the Netherlands against the impressive forces of the North Sea. Through the closing of a number of branches in the estuary, the coastline has been shortened by roughly 700 kilometers. The sizable reduction of the exposure to the high tides and gale forces has resulted in a dramatically improved protection level. These delta works show the unique skill level of the Dutch hydraulic engineers. The Netherlands, however, has also its big industries like, for example, gigantic steel mills, the Hoogovens, handling annually millions of tons of iron ore. These steel mills meet an important part of the European steel demand. The biggest ore refineries and petrochemical industries of Europe are located at the mouth of one of Europe's biggest rivers, the River Rhine. Many international oil companies like Shell, Esso and Chevron are located here because of the big advantage of direct water connections with Western Germany. 2 nuclear power plants have been providing electricity for many years, contributing in a part of the energy requirements of the Netherlands. These nuclear power plants also provide a source of knowledge of and experience with this kind of energy. The Netherlands do not have a large variety of natural resources, but nevertheless our economy is heavily dependent on the Dutch biggest natural resource, the natural gas. Gas which is found both in the Netherlands soil and in the North Sea. To a limited extent, we also find crude oil as a natural resource. Tourists love to visit the Netherlands. Very famous are the buildings and skylines of towns like Amsterdam, Marken and Volendam, memories of the golden days of Dutch navigation in the 17th and the 18th century. Everywhere in the landscape you come across the typically Dutch windmills, many of which are still in good condition through renovation. Typically Dutch are, for instance, the wooden shoes. The wooden shoes have remained in use as practical footwear used by farmers and others who work on wet or dirty surfaces. In the Netherlands one can find several attractive fishermen's ports. These are very important for our sea fish business, being one of our sources of income for this country. Herring is one of the most popular fish which is found in the North Sea. Nowadays, many of the former fishermen's harbours have a very special atmosphere attracting large numbers of tourists. In the northern part of the Netherlands, we find the province of Friesland, a province in which the most important business activity is agriculture. In the world of agriculture, the Frisian black and white cows are well known. This breed is world famous because of its very high milk production. Modern farms with over 200 milk cows are no exception. These modern farms are largely automated in many cases with microprocessor-controlled feeders. This approach lends itself for fast and effective milk production under superb hygiene control. Government control on both animal food and processes guarantees a high quality of milk. This milk is an important source of income for the Netherlands. A large portion of the milk is processed to butter and cheese. In the earlier days, the farmer made the cheese at home, through methods and recipes which have been passed on for generations. This real manual labor was time-consuming and a large production was not possible this way. Nowadays, farmers' cheese is a delicacy made by farmers either as a hobby or as a tourist attraction. A modern cheese factory is totally automated and computer controlled. These cheese factories produce the majority of the Dutch cheese. The former cheesemaker has been retrained to become a switchboard operator surrounded by computer printers and terminals. Factories like these are the ones that enable the Netherlands to export its quality cheese all over the world. To the USA, about 8,500 tons. The Frisian people still maintain their own language and their culture. One of the examples of the Frisian culture which is still highly valued is the so-called skoetsjezielen. This is a competition with old Frisian sailing freighters, the skoetsjes. These freighters, which still carried their cargo about 50 years ago through most of the Netherlands, are flat ships without a keel which are uniquely suitable to sail on the many shallow Frisian lakes. The function as a freighter is history, but the traditional sailing competitions are annual events drawing tens of thousands of people to the Frisian lakes to watch these majestic ships. Here in the province of Friesland, in the southwestern section, we will find Heerenveen. Heerenveen is a middle-sized town with about 25,000 inhabitants. A town located between meadows and woods, not having the appeal of a big city. In Heerenveen we will find a number of historical buildings and artifacts of the digging of turf in the last few centuries. Heerenveen at that time was one of the most important trading centers of this kind of fossil fuels. A historically famous Dutchman is Peter Stuyvesant. Among his achievements was the foundation of the city of New York. Peter Stuyvesant was born near Heerenveen in the Frisian village of Wolvega, where his statue can still be seen. More recently, Heerenveen has developed through renovation and expansion to a modern dynamic town with new suburban areas. Up-to-date facilities of all kinds are available with good opportunities for cozy shopping and wandering around. During a few days per year, the well-known annual market festival is held as a repetitive tradition. This festival takes place virtually in Tektronix Heerenveen's Strandjaard. Each year, thousands of people from all over the place are attracted by this happening. People of all ages can eat, drink, look, buy on the market and enjoy themselves on an extended fancy fair with entertainment, show and music. Through its attractive location, Heerenveen is also a regional industry centre with several industry parks. Not only Tektronix, but also other bigger and smaller companies have settled in Heerenveen. Companies like a bicycle factory Batavis, exporting bikes also to the United States, a fat processing company, the head offices of one of the biggest shipping companies in the Netherlands, and very close to Tektronix, the ice stadium Tialf, where many international skating competitions are held. Several world champions have started here in Heerenveen in this artificial ice rink. To accommodate the transportation of raw materials and goods, Heerenveen has a small industry harbour with direct connections to the bigger shipping canals through the northern part of the Netherlands. Heerenveen is surrounded by an excellent road system which guarantees an effective transportation of materials. Through this modern, well-maintained freeway network of the Netherlands, one can reach the most important harbours and the international airport Schiphol within 2 hours from Heerenveen. Excellent provisions like bridges, flyovers, tunnels, clear road marks and many services and aids along the roadsides give a guarantee for effective transportation. The Netherlands is a water country with opportunities to accommodate barges, etc. All important Dutch sea harbours are directly connected to the mainland through canals and big rivers. The world's biggest sea harbour is Rotterdam. This harbour is very favourably located relative to one of the world's biggest industrial centres, the German Ruhr area. Rotterdam is located about 3 hours away from Heerenveen. Millions of tons of cargo are handled on an annual basis from all parts of the world. Specifically, the modern provisions in the harbour handling containers gives this sea harbour its international reputation and character. From Rotterdam, the containers are transported throughout Europe, in which the Dutch railroad system has a significant share. The Netherlands has a modern, fully electrically controlled railroad network. All parts of the country and all important cities are connected. This railroad network connects to the Central European railroad system. Heerenveen itself is located on one of the north-south routes. Within 2 hours, people and freight can reach the Amsterdam area. A good communication system is very important for business. The Dutch telephone system, which has been fully automatic for the last 20 years, enables automatic dialing all over the world. The Frisian village of Burum, located in the middle of farmland about 30 kilometers away from Heerenveen, has a send-receive station for telecommunication satellites. This station, owned by the Dutch PTT, has been built and been provided with the newest technologies in the area of satellite tracing and telecommunication equipment. Many telephone and telex connections can be made through this station simultaneously across the ocean. Also, Tektronix equipment feels at home in this masterpiece of technical knowledge. This equipment measures important transmitter signals day in, day out, 24 hours a day. For many investing corporations, all these advantages have contributed to the decision to set up a company in Holland. Tektronix is one of the many foreign subsidiaries which have decided to settle in the Netherlands. In 1961, Tektronix started in Heerenveen with a small facility somewhere in the middle of a suburban area with only a few people. Now it has grown into a modern company on the Heerenveen Industrial Park with employment for about 550 people. Tektronix Holland is a company which is able to offer quality in many areas. In printed circuit assembly, state-of-the-art technology is used for manual component insertion. The kit trays are anti-static and enable the assembly person to find an individually tuned, comfortable work method. Temporary masking is done with a screen print technique, whereby water-solvable solder resist is used. After wave soldering, the temporary masking is washed away in the regular washing cycle. After wave soldering, the printed circuits are washed with a detergent and rinsed with regular water. The cleanliness of printed circuits is very important for quality measuring instruments. To assure a high level of cleanliness, specially treated demineralized water is used in a second rinse cycle. The special treatment, called reversed osmosis, delivers deionized water with a very low conductivity level of less than 20 microsiemens. As a final step in the cleaning cycle, an air knife minimizes the possibility that any contamination should remain on the printed circuit boards. The Standards Laboratory is a valuable asset in the manufacturing process of precision measuring instruments. The standards for voltage, current and resistance are checked annually by the National Standards Organization, which provides calibration reports. Through this procedure, the standards maintain their traceability to the Bureau International des Poids et Mesures in Paris. The time standard is permanently monitored to maintain an accuracy of 0.4 parts per billion, representing a deviation of approximately 1 second per century. The Heerenveen lab has the authority to provide official certificates for third parties within defined accuracy limits. The temperature cycling room requires energy to both heat and cool. Aiming at energy conservation, the heat exchange unit of the cycling room is positioned in the returns airflow of the air conditioner for the building. Through this method, the excess energy is used to heat the building, thereby conserving other energy sources. Printed circuits, being the repetitive element in electronic assemblies, lends itself for robotic treatments. State-of-the-art robotics are used in the assembly operation in Heerenveen, like a sequencer, an axial lead component inserter, a dual inline package IC inserter, and in-circuit test equipment. The sequencer is directly linked with the PDP-1144. This computer keeps track of which job has been completed, including the location of the component reels. When the operator of the sequencer keys in the next job, the computer will tell how to set up the component reels for the next job with the minimum number of reel changes. The actual lead component inserter has its own computer, which is shared with the dual inline IC package inserter. This computer is online connected to a PDP-1144, which hosts all the available programs for these machines. The in-circuit tester, ICT, has both analog and digital capabilities. Analog testing programs as well as digital testing programs are being received from the United States. With the aid of a PDP-1144, the analog and digital programs are combined and enhanced to use the ICT most effectively. Transformers and cables. The Heerenveen facility is recognized by CSA and UL to deliver certified products. The requirements for the manufacture of transformers and cables are met, which widens the utilization of the operation. The wire is colored in the plant, which enables an effective inventory control. No shortages, no surpluses. The use of round kit trays for print assembly has proven that the assembly of printed circuits is more pleasant and easier to use for the assembly operators. As a result, we see an efficiency improvement in the assembly of printed circuits. A clean environment is an essential condition in the manufacturing of quality products. Moreover, in the metal shop, a clean environment is considered to contribute to quality and accuracy. A well-organized parts manufacturing process results in a very high yield with virtually no rework. The care in handling parts pays off. The metal shop manufactures parts not only for the Heerenveen facility. It also provides metal parts for the other European Tektronix plants in Guernsey and Hoddesdon. The transportation cost within Europe is only 10% of that from Beaverton to Europe. Since the cost of transportation counts heavily in the standard cost of sheet metal parts, the metal shop is a valuable asset. Printing on metal parts is done by means of tampon printing. This printer is capable of printing on uneven surfaces. The printer provides high-resolution quality print for our instruments. Both setup times and operating times are very short. The internal tool shop is equipped with highly accurate machining capabilities. Here is the basis for quality metal parts. Internal tool design and tool repair adds to the flexibility of the operation. The parts distribution center on the factory floor is a special inventory location from which final and test kits are prepared. This structure enables the centralization, the staging and the control of production assemblies and reduces the random spread of assemblies on the shop floor. The incoming inspection takes samples to monitor the quality of incoming parts. The lot size and level of inspection is dependent on the vendor's quality performance. When a higher quality performance is experienced, the inspection effort is reduced. All of the calibration and test technicians in Heerenveen have at least a technical education at high school level, but many of them have an advanced technical education. About 100 technicians in Heerenveen are familiar with microprocessors, which is a valuable know-how basis for all new digital products. The highly skilled labor force is an attractive asset in new product introduction. Just the new product specifics need to be taught. The Dutch educational system offers specific advantages for assembly and test operations like in Heerenveen. Technical education ranges from high school level to PhD and also provides excellent education for technical managers and design engineers. In the area of Heerenveen, we find 3 technical schools providing curricula in all areas of electronics. Students have the opportunity to continue their electronics education on a university level, whereby not only the theoretical training, but also the practical training is important. Students learn to work with electronic components, circuits and machines. Computer technology and process control are important elements of this curriculum. Education, as shown on this film, is essential for Tektronix and guarantees a high technical level in its skill mix. 4 IDD products, 2 models of hard copiers, the 4631 and 4632, the 4662 plotter and the 4114 terminal were introduced in the Heerenveen plant in 1982. From the moment the decision was made to assemble the product in Heerenveen, it took 6 weeks to have some engineers familiarize themselves with the products. 3 months later, the first assembly started. Within 5 months after the decision, the first product output was realized. The whole operation for 4 products, from decision through training, assembly, test aids and product output, took less than 11 months to complete. The 4115B terminal is one of the latest devices to be taken into production by Tektronix Heerenveen. Producing this color terminal, a very modern and advanced piece of equipment, constitutes for the Tektronix employees a challenge and a stimulus to make sure it finds its way to the consumers in eminent shape. Terminals are being tested with the aid of a PDP 1134. This tool is required to deliver fully tested products. An important location in the company is the central warehouse. It's here where all the parts necessary for the production are stored and where the finished products are waiting for shipment. Securely packed in boxes, Tektronix products leave the factory in Heerenveen first of all by truck. Many truckloads lead Tektronix products on their way from Heerenveen to Holland's biggest airfield, Schiphol. Schiphol is located near the Dutch capital Amsterdam. It's one of the most modern airports in the world. There, in big halls, also Tektronix products are carried to the right plane to get these products on their way to the customers all over the world. Tektronix equipment finds many applications in Holland too. Here you see the Dutch Central Institute for Air and Space Research. Amongst other things, aerodynamic and aeroelastic measurements are made in a dozen wind tunnels on, for instance, aircraft parts, ships and bridges. Apart from that, the NLR also conducts a lot of research in the field of space travel. A Tektronix 4114 terminal, together with a computer, assists in the visual representation of various measurements and calculations on the different objects. Here you see an airplane wing on which the air pressure distribution is visualized graphically by means of lines. Here the F-16 jet plane, used amongst others by the Dutch Air Force, is designed. A number of these ultra-modern aircraft are assembled in Holland by the only Dutch aircraft factory, Fokker. Fokker is internationally renowned for its reliable and economical middle-sized aircraft like the Fokker Friendship, the F-27 and the F-28 Fellowship. For years, Fokker aircraft have flown in many countries all over the world. In adjusting and maintaining the large amount of eminent electronic equipment, a lot of Tektronix measuring and adjusting equipment is used. Fokker also calibrate their own measuring equipment. Here, for instance, a Tektronix 455 scope is recalibrated with Tektronix equipment so that this apparatus can again function accurately. Building an aircraft full of electronic equipment demands accurate measuring equipment. In equipping a cockpit, a portable Tektronix scope proves very serviceable in measuring the wiring. Next to the measuring and adjusting equipment, some Tektronix terminals have found a place at the Fokker research departments to offer, for instance, designers the possibility to quickly see their completed designs in any way. In this way, the drawing and printing of an aircraft design is a matter of minutes. A completely different company is the Nederlandse Waterloopkundig Laboratorium. This laboratory is the main research center for the study of the conduct of water, the currents and their effects on, for instance, dikes and the sea bottom. A lot of research is done here for the Delta Plan and many other hydraulic projects at home and abroad. In this research, mostly in scale models, the computer plays an important part. Tektronix oscilloscopes being used, among other things, for visualizing the signals to be measured. The project shown here examines the effects of the bottom of a wave on a certain sea bottom condition. A Tektronix oscilloscope checks if the signals to be measured still come up to demands and if they are still suitable for computer processing. You've seen an impression of the Netherlands with as central theme Tektronix Holland, a company located in Heerenveen in the province of Friesland. At the moment, the company employs approximately 550 people. For the town of Heerenveen, this means that approximately 10% of the population of Heerenveen is economically more or less dependent on Tektronix. In short, the central location in Europe, the excellent transportation provisions, the political stability of the Netherlands, the skill level and the positive drive of the personnel, as well as the up-to-date machinery and equipment, are the ingredients for the Heerenveen company to produce the quantity and the quality at an attractive cost. These ingredients also allow to switch fast and virtually without problems to new instruments. This film is presented to you by Tektronix Holland NV in Heerenveen.